Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we're going to be looking at the LTTB, the Russian Tier 7 light tank. And what a light tank this is. It is like a rocket. Its engine power is 700 horsepower, which gives it a power to weight ratio of just under 31 horsepower per ton. Now, to put that into perspective, the Walker Bulldog, the other American Tier 7 light tank, which is known to be quite a fast little thing, has a power to weight ratio of around 23 horsepower per ton. So that should give you an idea as to the acceleration on this thing. And it's not just its acceleration, it's got armour as well. Look at that, 90mm on the front of the turret and the hull, 45 on the side of the hull, 40 on the rear, 75 on the sides of the turret and 52 on the rear. Now the rear armour on this thing is thicker than the armour on just about any of the other light tanks, more or less anywhere on the vehicle. I had bouncers on the back of this from a Tiger the other day in a match. In fact, it might even be one of the ones that I put up in the replays to show you. It's got 950 hit points, top speed of 68 kilometers an hour. Chassis and turret rotation aren't the fastest, but this thing does have to be balanced somehow at 48 degrees a second for both. 11.6 rounds a minute and a 390 meter view range. It doesn't have the best camo rating out of the light tanks, and in fact I've got the WZ131, the Chinese one here. You can see that the camo rating is slightly better, not by much, but it is a little bit better. But the chassis rotation is a lot better on the WZ131, but it doesn't have that top speed, and it doesn't have the same power to weight ratio, being around, I think I worked out about 21-22 horsepower per ton, and it has less hit points. However, it does get a little bit more of a punchier gun with 200 alpha damage. But enough about that, let's go back to the LTTB. Equipment wise, this thing can scout, you know, and I've had some very effective scouting roles, but it is more of a fast attack tank. So equipment, I've got a tank gun rammer to increase that rate of fire, some vents to just increase everything on the tank, and some coated optics to enhance my view range to help with the spotting. The grind on it was a little bit painful. You start off with a 550 horsepower engine, which is a bit underwhelming and not a particularly good gun at 126 pen, 160 damage, 167 on your premium ammunition. You then upgrade to the D5T85BM, get 144 pen, 180 damage, and you'll stick with that damage with the top gun on this, which is the 85mm D1085, 11.76 rounds a minute, like I said. 2.09 seconds aiming time, not bad accuracy, especially for a Russian, at 0.36 accuracy, 170 pen, 180 damage, 216 on your premium ammunition. Now that's a bit lower than some of the other light tanks. The penetration on the Walker Bulldog is 175, although that gets less damage at 150. Things like SHAREfactory IC, that's got a 90mm with 240 average damage, but it's not got the rate of fire or the power to weight ratio of this. And what that armour means is that you have a very fast, quite punchy little light tank that's got some armour to fall back on. Now, I wouldn't rely on it, but I mean, if you get into a tier 8 match and you've got tier 6s in there, you can bounce some shots from those with a bit of careful angling. And like I say, I don't think it was a fully upgraded Tiger, but I took some bounces from a Tiger, possibly with a shorter 88 with 132mm penetration off the backside of this thing, because even though it's only 40mm, just look at the angling on it. Now, it's not the smallest of light tanks, it is quite tall, but you're so quick that things do tend to have a bit of a problem shooting at you. There is a distinct lack of gun depression though, so anybody familiar with the Chinese tanks, such as I am, will know how to compensate for this and adjust their gameplay accordingly. You're not going to be attacking over ridge lines in this thing. And I think that about covers it. Oh, skill set. I've gone for, well, first of all I went for camouflage and then swapped it out for sixth sense, because sixth sense and camouflage are possibly the two most important skills in a light tank in my opinion. So I've got about half camouflage and I've got a sixth sense working on this thing. Yeah, and I think that is about your lot. Obviously it plays up to tier 10 with it being a tier 7 light tank. They are matched as though they're a tier higher. My ammo loadout, 30 AP shells, 8 APCR just in case, and 4 high explosives for artillery and lightly armoured targets such as CDCs and other light tanks. Yeah, and I think that about covers it. So let's get into a couple of bits of gameplay that I've got recorded for you. You can see how this thing performs and see if this could be the light tank for you. So here we are, we're on Cliff, tier 9 match, and it's a standard battle. And it's worth mentioning that the equipment that I used to have on this were not the equipment that I've got on it now. I used to have a camouflage net, binocular telescopes, and I think it was vents, and I had it set up as a passive scout. So, and I had quite a lot of success in it as a passive scout. But I was watching one of Quickie Baby's videos, and he'd got it set up with the same equipment that I've got on it now. And he was doing quite well as well, and it made it a very different play style, so I thought I'd give it a try, and yeah, I do enjoy it actually, and I preferred it, and personally I kept it, but it's entirely up to you how you want to set this tank up. Now I'm going for a very aggressive spotting position at first here, over on the other side, overlooking the enemy base, try and get a few good spots in at the beginning of the match. And another couple of things I wanted to mention as well, when I was talking about the WZ-131 with its punchier gun with 200 alpha damage, I was of course talking about its 85mm, because I'm obviously comparing it to this, and this has an 85mm. The WZ-131 can also fit 100mm with 250 damage, but a lot slower loading time, so it does change the play of the tank, and I've been spotted already. So back out of there. Don't want to be taking hits this early, and I take a bounce from something there. And put a shot back on the move while I relocate. And oh, there's the Tiger. Not fully upgraded though, like I thought. Oh, and that's my first derpy moment. Drive straight up there, but take a bounce off my gun mantle, I think. And another one off the backside. You see, with this tank, play it like other light tanks, as though every hit is going to penetrate and every hit is going to be your last. And if you do that, then when you do get those bounces like that, you'll be pleasantly surprised. But just look at the speed of this thing, look how fast it accelerates. I do like this thing. See if we get a shot. No. Trying to get a shot of that AMX 1375. If that ricocheted. Managed to get one in. Some good rate of fire on this. Am I going to get another one? Just waiting for the T541 to get out of the way. Get another one in when he moves, and he's done. And they're trying to make a push through that choke point down the western side. The other thing that this armour means, of course, is that high explosive shells are less likely to penetrate and do full damage as well, which is always a bonus, because that's always a worry in things like the CDC and most of the other light tanks. And unlike the MT-25 before this and the Chinese 5916, this one is not limited, or well, you feel that those tanks are more limited in a scouting role. They've got 57mm guns. I mean, the 5916 can have an auto-loader, but even that limits it to a scouting role, on at least for the first half of the match, until there's damage tanks that you can circle and just keep putting the damage into them. Whereas this does, it can fulfill a scouting role very, very well, but it does feel more like a fast attack tank. Oh, and I get spotted. Back up. Nothing's paying attention to me. This is risky, and I really, yeah, it's a questionable decision whether I should have backed up there or kept on going and spun it round. I should have spun it round. Waffenträger Panzer IV gives me a very big check there and nearly kills me in one shot. I shot that Tiger. Don't know if I'm going to penetrate him though. No, looking for it. Of course, this does set up quite nicely for the T-54 lightweight, which I've just unlocked. And again, that's a light tank with armour. It's got good armour. 80mm on the front, nice sloping. 160mm on the front of its turret. You get hull down in that, and you can bounce shots quite comfortably from, you know, sort of medium range on, well, just about anything lower tier, I would have thought. There are probably a few exceptions. It's got a very rounded turret on it, and some stuff equal tier as well, possibly. Finish off that Waffenträger Panzer IV. That'll teach you if you're hitting me like that. E75, not going to penetrate that, I don't think, unless I get the flat side of it. I might be able to get through the side of the turret, possibly this side of it, but we've got T-32 down there I'm shooting at. It's still there. I'm still getting damage ribbons, and he's moving back now. Just putting shot after shot. Damages tracks with that one though. Don't go through and don't knock him off. Another one in to finish him off. And that's what I like about this. It's got, you know, decent penetration, decent damage, good rate of fire. I do like the WZ-131, but the rate of fire lets it... No, the rate of fire is not far off this actually. It's slightly less than this, but the penetration lets that down slightly at 159. Of course, that is on the 85mm, which is what I have fitted to it, because I prefer the increased rate of fire and the slightly better soft stats that the 85mm gets. Not quite enough to finish that E75 off, and that's the game. So you can see there, tried to do a little bit of scout at the beginning, didn't quite go my way, so I decided, you know what, sod this, let's do a bit of fast attack. And not a bad little game at the end of it. That's 4006 doubled, 2003 undoubled, and Mark of Excellence again, which I'm just checking out there. Came third, which isn't bad. You know, it's not too bad, I'm happy with that. A nice little round, and it just highlights some of the features of the tank as well. So we've got one more coming up, in fact the second out of 3 replays featuring the LTTB, and we'll deal with that one in just a moment. So here we are, it's Live Oaks, Standard Battle, and this is a Tier 8 matchup, which is the best you're going to get in an LTTB. Like I say, light tanks, it's not so much that they play 3 tiers higher. Well, obviously they do, but they get matched up as though they're, say, a tier higher, medium or heavy, or, you know, that sort of thing. So, starting at this end, I've got a nice little spotting position which I like to go to, which is just by this hut in these bushes. Well, that T-37 just seemed to be jostling me. I don't know what he was doing quite, and it slowed me down a little bit and I didn't get there in time, and I've got an AMX-12T putting shots in, so managed to get one into him on the move. Just keep firing while I'm moving. One thing you could put on this possibly instead of the vents that I've got on it is a gun laying drive. I can't remember if this can take a vertical stabilizer. Just to increase that aiming time slightly. The less time you can spend aiming in a light tank, the better off you are. So again, my initial spotting did not quite go to plan, so I'm going to come back around here, put shots into the flanks of these guys, and as you can see I'm getting straight through the side of that Tiger 2. Don't know where that one went. Just keep firing, and that's the trick with this tank, just keep firing. And that's the Tiger 2 gone. And like I keep saying, I'm going to say it again, you can use this as such a fast little light attack tank, especially in the later half of the game when you start to get isolated, damaged enemies, and you can just go to town on them. Or as you could see there from a nice spotting position, something's seen me though, trying to get a few shots on that T-29, just really pottering about back here. Oh, that T-71 shot into him and damaged his ammo rack, and they've got other things shooting at me. My ammo rack's damaged, need to get out of there. It was the T-29 that got me, so I was trying to get a few shots in, just milling about, keeping an eye on the map and thinking about where I was going to go next. Now I'm off their radar and I've got concealment between me and those guys, so I'm going to start putting shots back into them. Nearly finish off the T-71, and there he is for my third kill. Alright, I've got a Löwe. I can get through the side of him. Just keep putting shots in his direction, knock his tracks off. And there's another one, and it's just chipping away at their health. The rate of fire on this is very nice. And just keep going, chipping away, and somebody else finishes him off. Oh, VK4502A, Tier 8 Heavy. He could be a problem. I've not got a lot of health left. At half my health. Oops, and I've been spotted. Yeah, he's looking at me. I need to shift, get down below his gun. That was close. But you can use your speed and your manoeuvrability to put cover in between you and the enemy tanks. And then come around and go at them from a different angle. Or just go aggressive and support your other light tank on your team. Oh, not quite in time to finish him off, to help out our other light tank, but just in time to finish off the 4502A. Like I say, it doesn't quite have the track and turret traverse of some of the other light tanks, but it more than makes up for it in every other way. I do like this. It has been my favourite light tank so far. Definitely. And, well, just looking at the map and the scores up there, we really have been going to town on the enemy. And our team have really done a number on them. We're in the lead 13-4. And what we've got up here, they've got 2 tanks left. And Rheinmetall Borsig, I thought it was. So sneak round, got to avoid his gun. He could one-shot me quite easily, but he's got less armour than I have. Whoa! And just enough to finish him off. But you can see the manoeuvrability, and I mean that power to weight ratio, it really does help out with your change of direction, you know, forwards to backwards and just flicking off to one side. A lot of people say that this reminds them of the T50-2, just with armour. And looking for the last tank that's left, no idea where he is. I thought, seeing as everybody is spread up that way, and I thought I probably would have seen him if he was over near the Rheinmetall Borsig. So I thought I'd check out this top corner and thought he might be just trying to stay out the way and survive, but no, he is actually over that end. So he gets by me, and I'm just trying to get across here to get a little bit more damage done, but not in time. He got surrounded and stomped on. And there we go, not a bad little round again. I do like getting the LTTB into tier 8 matches like that. You can have so much fun. Now, before everybody gets too excited over the over the XP, I have got a ×3 multiplier active at the minute, and I actually got Call Me Damage, which is being the highest damage dealer across both teams. And apparently I ranked somebody, although I have no idea who. But yeah, it's always nice to come top of the table in your light tanks. It's always good fun, and it's quite a rewarding feeling, definitely. And if people haven't tried out light tanks for whatever reason, honestly, just give them a go. They are so much fun. And we've got the last replay coming up for you in just a moment. So here we are. It's another standard battle, and it's Abbey, nighttime variant, and it's another tier 9 matchup. So now, on Abbey, in my light tanks, I've never really been too sure where to go. I find, obviously, if you go down the right hand side, the eastern side of the map there, down by the river, you can run into enemy tanks and normally just get stomped on. You go down the western side, down the left hand side of the map there, down that sort of valley. Again, it's very corridorized, if that's the right word, and you'll run into enemy tanks and generally get stomped on. But then just down this side of the town, I found a nice little aggressive spotting position. These bushes here, oh, being seen though, and if you can get to them without being seen, you can spot all the enemy tanks going across from the base towards the west, and a lot of the time you can spot any tank destroyers or anybody else just camping that little ridge just in front of the bases. And there's one on the north base and obviously one on the south as well. But I'd been spotted, so I backed up, and now I'm going to reverse into position, which is another light tanker trick. And the reason you reverse into position is because if you do get spotted, you can just floor the accelerator and get out there at full speed without having to mess about, turn around or manoeuvre. And getting a couple of spots in and being spotted again. I pushed it a bit too far again. So push off, get some cover between me and that 1375, which I'm pretty sure is what will have spotted me. Put a shot at him through the concealment. I missed though. Try and go for this KB4, and I think that went into the ground. And I'm going to get one into him. Just knocks his tracks a little bit, not enough to track him. That's a bit frustrating. But the 1375's on his way out, and if he was the one that was spotting me, maybe I can just see if there's anybody else about to go over that way. So reverse back into position. See if I can spot anybody for those guys of ours in the town. And I've been spotted again. Now, in all fairness, I haven't really tried that spotting position in this since I took the camouflage net off. And if you can get there early enough, get your camouflage net up, you can sit there and you don't generally get spotted as much as I did then. And it is worth noting that all I've got on this is 6th sense and I think half done camo. So forget it, I'm bugging out. Thankfully that Conqueror just had the 20-pounder, because if he didn't I would be in serious trouble right now. And I found a Tiger 2, so start putting some shots in, trying to support our tanks that he's shooting at. And I was trying to keep that concealment in between us, and I'm not sure if it was the Tiger that spotted me or if it was somebody else. So I'm just having a little look around. I don't think it was anybody else. It possibly must have been the Tiger, which I was surprised at. So try and sneak back over, keep some concealment in between us. Now his upper glacis is flattened out slightly because he's poking his nose down, but I'll still go for the weak spot. No. Can I get one into his underbelly? No, just too slow on the trigger. No, that was never going to go through. Get his underbelly though there as he's coming up over the rise. Try and get another one in the upper glacis, but no, it just bounces and not quite quick enough on the reload to get one into his underbelly again. Ooh, Leopard PT8, they've got no armour. And the first one damages his ammo rack, so I'll aim at the same spot and headshot. Always satisfying. So piss boiling annoying when it happens to you, but so funny and satisfying when it happens to somebody else. Right, so I start to think about going back through the town to go and flank those guys in the Western Valley, but then I noticed the map, and that's why I started spinning round and sort of donked into that wall a little bit. So I just poke my nose back out here and start trying to support. Well, I don't know if there is anybody to support. I think it's just me and artillery down this end. I can't quite see on the map, although it sounds like somebody else is firing near me. Tiger's gone, but I can get that Rhinometal Borsig. Where's he gone? There he is. Pop back up. He won't be out of wreck, I think. Don't know where that went. He's seen me. He must be aiming. My reload beats his aim time. Beautiful. Oh, that was a lucky miss. Is that Tiger? Yes, it is. Must be taking exception. And yeah, there was somebody else there shooting with me. I thought there was. And he finishes him off. Now I'm going to nip up here, check there's nobody else in the base, because I actually thought I saw a Motherland coming across, and I'm not sure what happened to him. And there's Artie. Wow. Did not expect to see him down here. And that was the final kill. A nice little match-up on Abbey. So there you go, that's the LTTB. I hope I've highlighted enough of the actual elements of the tank itself for you to make your mind up, and to see if it might be the tank for you. But I really, like this little light tank in. Like I say, I think so far it is my favourite light tank, but I've not driven the T54 lightweight yet, and I've not driven the Bulldog. I know, sacrilege. But anyway, hopefully that will help you make your mind up. And if there's anything that you feel that I've left out of my reviews or overlooked, please leave it in the comments. I'm always looking to improve my channel and my videos. So there you go. Nice little bit of damage. And top of the table again, which is always nice, especially in the T9 matchup. Well anyway, I hope I've been helpful to you. I hope I've done enough to help you make your mind up, like I say, whether this might be the light tank for you. It is nice to have that little bit of armour, just to, not to rely on, but just to surprise you every now and again and to fall back on slightly, and just to give you a bit more protection from high explosive shells. Anyway, as always, if you like what you've seen as much as I enjoyed playing them, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.